UFC 204 here in Manchester, England, and Manchester's own Michael Bisping comes home to make the first defence of his title. Can he get the job done against the man who knocked him out at UFC 100? I say yes. I think he's a much older, wiser, smarter fighter second time round. I think he'll use his footwork and run the legs off Dan Henderson in the first few rounds. Then he'll start to load up on his strikes, and I expect him to get a TKO finish in round 3 or 4. As Henderson's 46 years finally start to catch up with him. I'm going with Bisping by late TKO.
I just think Michael Bisping is too confident and too good of a stride right now. Won 4 in a row, tied for the longest winning streak of his UFC career, and that's going to keep going. He's going to make it 5 here. He's going to eventually hurt Dan Henderson with a combination and just overwhelm him with volume, as we've seen. I don't see a clean one-hitter quitter like he had against Luke Rockhold, but eventually Bisping does get a stoppage due to strikes before the end of the 5 rounds.
So I think that Michael Bisping learned from the previous fight against Dan Henderson. He was walking to the most dangerous side of Dan Henderson when he landed that H-bomb. So I think that this time that he will fight smarter and maybe outwork him in the stamina division. You've seen it in the previous fight against Anderson Silva. We've seen it against his title fight, and I think that he will win this fight. I think he might even pull off a knockout, and I think we'll finish it in the second round.
I think Bisping is coming into this very different. Obviously now he is the first British champion. I think obviously KOing Rockhold like he did last time has given him that confidence. And I think he's a completely different fighter to what he was back in 2009. And I think he's going to play it very smart. Obviously Dan Henderson, he's going to retire. I don't know if he's as motivated as, say, Michael Bisping is in this fight. I think we might see a KO from Michael Bisping in, I'm going to predict, the 3rd round.
I think the hometown crowd is going to be a massive, massive factor for Michael Bisping. Anytime he's ever fought in the UK in the past with cage rights, he's really performed. I don't see anything changing on Saturday night. The volume is going to be a big, big problem for Dan Henderson too. Michael's going to put that combinations and everything together. I can see the fight going to the later rounds, 3rd, possibly 4th. Dan will hang in there, but ultimately I can see Michael Bisping with a TKO stoppage victory or a decision.
Michael Bisping, Dan Henderson. I mean, listen, I think we all know what we're going to see here, right? Michael Bisping is the younger fighter. He's the faster fighter. He's the far more mobile fighter. And to me, he's the fighter that should win this. But Dan Henderson, so dangerous. That right hand, I always go back to the rematch with Shogun when he was looking terrible, to be honest with you, and then threw that one right hand, changed everything, and won the fight with 1 punch. So Dan Henderson, dangerous as hell, but give me Michael Bisping. I think he's going to cruise through all 5 rounds, outwork Dan Henderson, and take it home on the judges' cards.